All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 417 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern Atlanta Falcons football. And today, we're going to talk about the scrimmage that Georgia Southern had in Savannah. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on that. Also, they had a kids clinic that I thought that was really, really cool. Give you my thoughts and opinions on that as well. And we also going to talk about the Falcons. They're going to play the Jets today. It is game day for the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to get into that as well to give you my thoughts and opinions on everything that is on deck today. So I hope you guys sit back and enjoy. I want to thank everybody who has been coming through and watching the program, pretty much Monday through Friday. You guys have been great. I cannot thank you guys enough for the supporting. If this is your first time here, welcome. I am on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. So if you want to listen to the podcast at your leisure, you can listen to it on those podcast avenues, or you can continue to watch on YouTube or Rumble. Also, I haven't done this in a while, and I need to start getting back doing it because it's just been busy as all to get out. But I do thank the people who still been supporting. I do have a Patreon, and over there I do like an extra episode of the show pretty much every Sunday or Monday. I have an extra episode up either on those days, and those episodes are basically for stuff that's outside of Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. Maybe I have a little bit of that stuff in it, but if you want to support, the link is down in the description. You can go check that out, and I very much appreciate it. I cannot thank you guys enough. It should be in all my links. If not, I'll just have a open link right there so you can just click it. All it does, it just helps, support the show. And by supporting the show, I give you guys an extra episode to watch. So thank you guys for, just checking it out. And if you're already supporting, I really, really appreciate it. Enough of all that stuff. Let's go ahead and get into this. Georgia Southern holds another scrimmage. This time it was in Savannah, Georgia at Memorial Stadium. I'm originally from Savannah, and Memorial Stadium is basically it's not really, really, really historic, but it's a historic icon in Savannah when it comes to football. Georgia Southern has played there back in the 80s. Some of the big football games are played there for when it comes to high school. It seats very well for a high school stadium. It's just a really nice place to go to if you want to watch football, and I love it there. I mean, there's been plenty of times I went there growing up watching, either Savannah High or watch Beach or Benedict College, and Benedict College, Benedictine Academy. Watching all the other high schools, Jenkins High School, all those high schools had a chance to play there at some point, and I used to go there at least once a year. So Georgia Southern took the chance to go down there, which is really cool because it extends Georgia Southern back into the Savannah area, where Savannah State really, as far as colleges go, that's the first college you really think about in Savannah when it comes to football. It brings the Eagles out there once again so people could come out and watch them practice. And for the practice, I'm gonna give you some stats and opinion and stats on what happened in the game, and another solid performance for the team. And I think this team right here is ready to go. There's some things that could be cleaned up, but you got a lot of guys here that are just, on point, just ready to go and ready to go play against Morgan State, which is, a little bit, almost less than 2 weeks away now. It's, it's like football is here, you know what I mean? So when you look at it, the number one offense didn't play much, and that's understandable because you're getting close to the season. You don't want to put too much wear and tear on them. You want them ready to go. So Cal Van Treese went 4 for 4 for 67 yards. 67 of those yards was a 44-yard pass to Jeremy Singleton. So, I mean, it looked like that duo is going to be doing some things, throughout the season. And Jalen White scored a 1-yard touchdown run. And that was it for Cal Van Treese. He did not play after that, opening drive. Gerald Green saw some action, had 2 touchdowns. Had 2 touchdown scores. Also the kickers, and I'm getting all this information off of gseagles.com because I really wanted to go to this, but I wasn't able to go, work or whatever the case may be. Gerald Green, like I said, 2 touchdowns, and all 3 kickers did pretty good. Alex Rayner, 4 for 4 with a longer 52 yards. I'm not going to sit here and not play around. I was kind of down on Alex Rayner at some point because I remember the Louisiana game A couple of kicks that he missed early in his career, looked like he stepped his game up big time. So that's pretty cool. Michael Lance, the kicker from Minnesota, 3 for 4, along with 47. And Bryce Christening, he had a couple of kicks as well. Didn't see nothing from Britton Williams. That's kind of interesting, you know. That's my guy. I love the fact that that kid is on our team. I think personally, I think he's the best kicker out of all 4 of these guys, but that's another story for another day. Green and White both combined for 56 yards rushing and 3 scores. Singleton had 65 yards on 4 catches. Derwin Burgess had 3 catches for 56. Marcus Sanders had 3 catches for 35 yards. Zion McGee had 2 interceptions. Isaiah Walker and Wyland Free also had interceptions. And Jeremy Smith and Jalen Jackson both had a couple of touch sacks. So outside of that, once again, just another solid outing for the Georgia Southern. I'm just waiting for them, and I'm pretty sure they're ready to play against some, you know, real competition now. So there's not much to talk about here. Honestly, there's no wow factor, anything that's going on with that, with the team or whatever. I think these are a bunch of guys who have gelled together, got things together, and they're just basically just ready to go. You know, so with that being said, it is something that needs, you know, that is something that I'm just anticipating for. I can't see these guys, you know, slacking off based on what they have going on for themselves and what Coach Helton's put together. I think Coach Helton put together a pretty good team. And I know a lot of people were sitting here, you know, that's pretty much outside of Eagle Nation, are looking at this little sideways thinking that this is not going to be any, this is not going to be anything special. But a lot of people think this is going to be a really crazy transition. To be honest with you, I think the only way the Eagles really lose if they beat themselves. Because I think the level of competition is high in the Sun Belt, but I think these guys have done a pretty good job of putting a team together that can compete. And I would not be surprised if they, you know, shock a lot of people. I'm already on record saying that this team could win 8 games. And the more I look at this, I'm not joking about it. When you look at the guys like Jeremy Singleton and even with Caleb Hood and Derwin Burgess, you got guys on defense that's stepping up. The running game, I just got finished talking about Jalen White, you know, how I think he could probably be the best running back in the Sun Belt, honestly. If anything, our offensive line may be, you know, somewhat of a liability, and there's already been rumbling saying that the tight end position could be as well. So if we can get things moving on the offensive line and get the trenches together, I think we're going to be a problem because we got too many weapons on the outside that teams can't stop. Some people say that this wide receiver group is like very, 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 very good. And you got a quarterback like Cal Van Treese, you keep him upright, it's going to be a problem. So we're going to see how this plays out. They're going to be playing Morgan State September 3rd. I'm not going to be able to go to that game because I got something in store for September 3rd. Hopefully you guys hang around. And I hope you guys hang around and see what's going on September 3rd. I got something that I'm going to pull up my sleeve. I think it's going to be very fun and interesting because the fact that I'm not going to be able to go to the game in Statesboro, I got something that's probably just as good in store for you guys. So hopefully we'll see how that plays out. This is going to be really fun. All right. Before I go and transition over to the Falcons, the kids clinic. I watched some clips of the kids clinic, and this is really cool. I love watching stuff like this, like when kids who love the game of football, who love the Georgia Southern Eagles, or, you know, just not even necessarily know much about football and willing to learn about the game and see if there's something for them. When you get the players involved with having kids, learn about the game and teaching them and showing them and leading them what they can do or what the game is about, I think it's a really good, really big deal. Get them to interact with the kids, interact with the players, and it gives them something to look up to when it comes to not only just that moment, but throughout the entire season. Because kids, for the most part, they're very impressionable. And when you get kids involved in something positive like this, they tend to continue to spread that positivity. You know, a lot of kids, I say this with my son. You show them a little bit of positive outlook on things, and they just continue to, they continue to mimic it. They continue to blossom within that positivity. And when you get them into something like football, which is very team and oriented, and there's a lot of conglomerate and togetherness, it just brings a lot of good vibes and a lot of positivity. So you're probably looking at a lot of future Eagles, whether it be in football or any other sport. With them having this experience with Georgia Southern, will probably want them to follow this team up throughout their childhood. So this is a really big deal. This is not just something like, oh, we're going to teach kids to play football, and no, this could carry them. Even if they feel like football is not for them, they'll still love the team. They'll still watch the team. They'll still be able to support and grow with the team. And this is, like I said, a while back, I think this is a very special moment for Georgia Southern, because now you have a new coach, a new outlook, a new era, 40 years in the making. So this is the 40th year of the program being, up started again, and you got all this stuff going on. This could make it a very special year for this program. And with the kids involved as well, it's going to be really nice to see. I can't wait to get the pulse in sometime this year. I got plans to come to a couple games, and I can't wait to see how it's going to look, because this is so much positive, energy going into the season. I just hope it continues to stay that way, and we continue to build from 2022 and 2023 and beyond. I think that's really cool. So kudos to the Georgia Southern football team of getting the kids clinic out there. We already did a women's clinic a few weeks back. It's just going to continue to get better. And hopefully all this just continue to bring positivity and good news and a couple of wins, more than a couple of wins for the program. So I think that is pretty awesome. All right, let's transition over to the Falcons and the Jets. I don't have much to say here. Now, I said that the Georgia Southern Eagles are ready to go. The Falcons are in a situation where they're going to have to continue to get better. The level of competition in the NFL is way, way more intense, much, much higher for the Falcons. And unlike Georgia Southern, where they're kind of got everything in a row to compete with the Sun Belt, the Falcons have everything in a row just to be a formidable team. Now, they're going up against the Jets, and kind of similar to what they had to deal with the Lions, it's going to be a very similar situation. Coach Arthur Smith wants them to get better and clean up a lot of mistakes that happen. Now, when you look at the Lions game, we probably didn't see a lot of big time glaring mistakes. There was some, players for the Lions that were, some wide receivers that was open. And I want people to understand this, that's going to happen. I don't care if you're in the preseason, you're in the regular season or the postseason. You're going to have receivers open in the NFL. The problem is can you stop them when it's time, like when they're about to score, or can you hold them to field goals when they're in the red zone? Because when the field gets shorter, the coverage should get tighter. But throughout the NFL in general, you're going to get players that are open. You're not going to have a bunch of people on the field like a bunch of AJ Terrells. Yeah, in an ideal world, that's great. But, some quarterbacks are going to complete passes. You just have to stop the bleeding. It's a pass-driven league. So that is one of the main concerns that a lot of people were saying about the Falcons throughout the Lions game. But this is a pass-driven league. That's going to happen. Can you stop them when it's time to stop them? Can you stop them and limit them to X amount of scores? I think the 23 points that the Falcons gave up was a little bit too much. I want to see that come down to maybe 17-20, because if you hold a team down to 17 to 20 points, you got a very good chance of winning any football game. That's going to be tough, but I said this before. Luckily, we was able to come back and win the game, and that was really cool. Desmond Ridder did his thing, and I'm still in the mindset that there's a possibility that Desmond Ridder may play sooner rather than later. But I don't want to get into that too much. Drake London's more likely is not going to play. I don't want him to play. Hopefully he stays out until the regular season. We have another game against the Jaguars, I think. And just leave him out for right now. There's no reason to is no reason to deal with that. Let him nurse his injury until it's time to play week 1. But other than that, like I said, Arthur Smith was basically saying they want to be better than they were last week. And that's basically what it is. I don't expect to see anything special. I do, if anything, what I do want to see, I want to see Tyler Algier run the ball more. I do want to see that. I don't know how ideal that is because you still don't want to risk too much of an injury to anybody. So especially with the rookies, you got to have a balance in that. You want to see these guys do something, but then again, you don't want them to do too much. Also, what I want to see, some of these guys that are on the bubble, are these guys, because you got to understand, we're going to have 17, what is it, 17? Yeah, you're going to have, 17 to 27 guys get cut. And my math is not good. From 80 to 53. So you're gonna have, what, 27? I think it's like 27 players. It's going to get cut. So that's a lot of players within now and next Monday. So that's going to be really, really tough to see who can do what. Fortunately, there's 2 games. You got to play the Jets and then you play the Jaguars. And that's going to be a real good telling sign to see who does what. But getting better from a week ago is going to be really it's really going to be telling, and you're going to be really be able to see what this team can do to actually be better next week and who's going to stand out. D. Alford is another one that's actually, making a name for herself. Isaiah Oliver, he came back and he's doing some good things too. So there's not too many guys that I can see that really stands out to actually say, all right, who's on the bus? Because you just don't know. I mean, last week we had some people that got cut that we didn't even know. There's going to be some names that we know that's going to get cut next time, but we just don't know who it is. Maybe by the time the Jaguars game, we'll really get an understanding. But I really want to see Tyler Algier do a little bit more. He did pretty good for himself. Matter of fact, the running game as a whole did fairly well. Even Quadri Allison did good. So hopefully we'll see how all that plays out. The quarterback situation, it is what it is. I expect Mariota to play slightly more, but I do see Ritter probably going to take more of the snaps. So that's pretty much it. It's not much there. Just, they're playing against the Jets. See if they can get better than they were last week. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. I am on YouTube and Rumble. I'm on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. I can't wait to see what happens in this Jets game. Due to the fact that the game is going to be played late, it's going to be, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I may not be able to commentate on too much of the game because I usually do the games or I do the show, later at that night to be going into the morning. I don't know if I'll be up that late to give you my thoughts and opinions. I may do a mini video to give you my thoughts, but I have something else cooked up for you guys for episode 418, and we'll go from there. All right, y'all. I'm going to get up out of here, and I will see you guys on the next one. Hopefully you guys enjoy. You guys take it easy. You guys be blessed. Peace.